Becoming an effective leader is easier when you're intentional about it. Yes, some leaders are born, but even better leaders are created. They are intentional about observing, listening, what they say, and creating a space for the people that they work with to feel inspired, empowered, and creative. It's a skill which can be learned and combined with your leadership style that you can show up as a better leader. I'm Lisa Tong, your facilitator in this course in you becoming your best leader with the coaching muscle. I'm an engineer, an ex-consultant, an ex-corporate strategist, and an entrepreneur who has taught hundreds of students in the art and science of coaching through ICF-certified programs. However, being in corporate has made me realize that all leaders could actually build this coaching muscle. It's not only for people leaning into professional coaching. It's actually for leaders who want to stimulate, inspire, and empower their teams. Coaching is simply a co-creation process towards possibilities, using listening, asking powerful questions, and allowing the other person to really tap into their own creativity and resources to create that. In simplistic terms, it happens every day in conversation, or it can if we're intentional about those moments. We have conversations with our children, our parents, our peers, people on the street, people we see, everyone literally. What I'm offering is a system where you can think about your thinking and create powerful coaching moments. It's not rocket science, and you don't need a PhD to really learn how to do this. It's understanding a little bit of the psychology, for example, how the mind works, the spaces in which the mind works in, how to craft a very particular question to create a certain type of response, how to access parts of the unconscious and subconscious mind, how to act as a clean mirror for the other person to be able to really, truly see themselves, and then how to anchor accountability and responsibility so that that person can feel empowered towards creating what they want. My favorite part is really to be able to see myself as a leader through data. I'm an engineer and I love structure and I love data. And because of this, what you say reflects what you think. And what you think reflects what you understand. And what you understand reflects who you are. So, for example, how much airtime do you take in the conversation? This is a really fascinating point to look at, especially depending on what role you wear as a leader. How many open-ended or closed questions do you ask? How many leading questions do you ask? This is one that's actually highly fascinating when I work with leaders in really allowing them to see how their words come through. One example that I see a lot in meetings and in corporate settings is, are we okay with moving forward on that? That is a leading and close-ended question. How many are stacked questions? For example, where are we on timeline? Are we late? Two questions, one stacked on top of the other, but the second one more telling on where the leader's mindset is. It's so fascinating when you can see what you're saying and what the other people are saying as well. And we'll break this down in the course. What verbs are being used? Power verbs or more passive verbs? And this is what it means to objectively look at yourself as a leader through conversation. So if you love structure and love thinking about your thinking and want to truly see how you show up as a leader, join me in all the modules and you'll slowly build this muscle of seeing yourself first and then seeing how you show up as a leader and what that means for creating safe, powerful space for the people you work with. In this course, there are 7 modules. Each module builds on top of the other, so it's actually a layered learning approach. What we start with is learning about ourselves first, inside out, and from there, how it comes out in conversation. In the end, it's how we show up as a leader through a medium called a conversation. So I see coaching as a muscle, and so it really means to start small. You can't build six-pack overnight at the gym, but you can slowly get there over a period of time and intentionally exercising. Each module has a theoretical teaching component to it and some really neat self-exercises to help you explore these skills. There's also time for you to synthesize your understanding, and these skills and concepts are demonstrated through real-life use cases in how it shows up. As well, a list of practice exercises for you to try off course. To support your learning journey, I've created a suite of additional resources. This includes the full documentation of the system, a workbook for you to follow along if you'd like a space for reflections and just capturing your own thoughts, a use case library of more examples and leader dissections, my monthly coaching conversations meetup where you can just drop in and ask about anything, and a full community where you can meet other members, ask questions, meet new people, and share resources. Here's a quick overview of all the modules that you'll be going through in this course. Module 1 is the idea of a complete leader, you as a complete leader. We explore definitions of leadership and what it means for you to be a leader. Module 2 is how the mind works. I love this module because there's a lot of psychology behind it. We first explore your own mind and how you operate. This is highly fascinating as a space because the lenses that you see through as a leader is actually shaped by your experiences and understanding of the world. And no one wears the same lenses, ever. Why is this important? Well, as a leader, as a coach, it's also important that we're not bringing our own assumptions and deductions and biases into the conversation. Part of being a coach is the ability to mirror back a clean image of the other person so that they can see themselves clearly. It's now because we have the power to observe them in a safe space and see part of their unconscious and subconscious parts. That's a very vulnerable space for someone to be in. And for us to be able to show them that cleanly is very powerful. And that's what we're really trying to create as a leader, as a coach, are these moments where the other person does feel safe, does feel vulnerable enough to be able to show themselves and bring themselves, their best selves, to the workplace. Module 3 is mind, or mine, literally, what's being said. Here we do learn some psychology and categorization of language and words. There is a lot of power behind words, especially the understanding of those words to that person. This really takes us into the world of the mind and how the mind works and shows up in our language and speech. Module 4 is learning the anatomy of a conversation. What makes a conversation? What makes a coaching conversation? What makes a coaching moment? And what makes a coaching moment in the workplace? This is where you're introduced to the process of creating a conversation. It's quite technical and structured. However, in the workplace, you can tweak it as you like as a leader, as a coach, to fit your business environment and conversation. Module 5 is where we learn the power of observations. There is so much rich content used in words, how the words are structured, which words are used, how they're used, and the expressions that are used to connect them. And very often, they're not aware of the words we say, how we say them, and how they're connected. And even the expressions and actions associated with using these words, like sighing, or laughing, or smiling, or pausing, those all have meaning behind it. This is a very powerful space to work with because what it actually allows is a moment to unpack the unconscious and subconscious minds. Module 6 is in creating powerful prompts or questions. And this is where the power of reverse engineering actually comes in. We actually need to understand the type of response that we're trying to get to, and this is part of the process. And once we have that, what we can do then is reverse engineer how we create the question and observations up front as a pair so that we're creating a certain type of response. We're not creating the response for the person. We will never know what they're going to say, but we can influence to create a certain type of response, whether it's a logical response, reflective response, a response that's around feeling, doing, thinking, or being who they are, what's going on in the situation. There is so much that you can ask once you really begin to understand how to create a powerful question. And finally, module 7 is where we bring it all together. This is where you can learn to be precise and intentional in how you want to show up as a leader in coaching moments or conversations. There's also a lot of bonus material that I've thrown in here and there because there's just so much I want to share. One of them is about the ability to really analyze your own conversations as a leader. And so you can do this in the privacy of your own space when you're comfortable in really looking at how you show up as a leader. And there are many use cases to supplement this to really show you how I've done the dissection and analysis for conversations. Coaching is both a science and an art. I really love the science to it because of some of the structure and the processes that go behind it. However, it's not complete without the art of it, which is what I call coaches or leaders' choice. And that's where you as a leader really can choose how you want to show up in expression, in curiosity, in intensity, in verbs, in words, in language, in expressions. that define you as a leader. And when putting these together, this power of understanding of how technically a conversation can be created and yourself as a genuine leader can be so powerful. So really enjoy the course. I would suggest you to take it at the pace that's right for you, pause when you need, digest what you need, really take moments to practice those really small skills that I've offered up and see what's emerging for you as a leader. You can find me on any of my social channels or the community or my monthly drop-in if you have any questions, you want to share something, share a learning, take out a conversation for us to dissect, have questions, bring a friend, whatever it is, I encourage you to show up and really start practicing and trying for yourself. It's really through experience and experimenting with ourselves and how we're understanding some of the technical pieces that we can really bring it all together and really decide how you want to show up as a leader. All right, I'll see you in module 1 then. Bye for now.